The complete works of Swami Vivekananda Jnana Yoga, Chapter 15, The Real and the Apparent Man, Part 3. There is then but one all-comprehending existence, and that one appears as manifold. This self or soul or substance is all that exists in the universe. That self or substance or soul is in the language of non-dualism, the Brahman appearing to be manifold by the interposition of name and form. Look at the waves in the sea. Not one wave is really different from the sea. But what makes the wave apparently different? Name and form. The form of the wave and the name we give to it, wave. This is what makes it different from the sea. When name and form go, it is the same sea. Who can make any real difference between the wave and the sea? So this whole universe is that one unit existence. Name and form have created all these various differences. As when the sun shines upon millions of globules of water, upon each particle is seen a most perfect representation of the sun, so as also the one soul, the one self, the one existence of the universe being reflected on all these numerous globules of varying names and forms appear to be various. But it is in reality only one. There is no I nor you. It is all one. It is either I or all you. This idea of duality, Kaf 2, is entirely false, and the whole universe as we ordinarily know it is the result of this false knowledge. When discrimination comes and mind finds there are not two but one, he finds that he is himself this universe. It is I who am this universe as it now exists. A continuous mass of change. It is I who am beyond all changes, beyond all qualities, the eternally perfect, the eternally blessed. There is therefore but one Atma, one self, eternally pure, eternally perfect, unchangeable, unchanged. It has never changed. And all these various changes in the universe are but appearances in that one self. Upon it, name and form have painted all these dreams. It is the form that makes the wave different from the sea. Suppose the wave subsides, will the form remain? No, it will vanish. The existence of the wave was entirely dependent upon the existence of the sea. But the existence of the sea was not at all dependent upon the existence of the wave. The form remains so long as the wave remains, but as soon as the wave leaves it, it vanishes. It cannot remain. This name and form is the outcome of what is called Maya. It is this Maya that is making individuals, making one appear different from another. Yet, it has no existence. Maya cannot be said to exist. Form cannot be said to exist because it depends upon the existence of another being. It cannot be said as not to exist, seeing that it all makes this difference. According to the Advaita philosophy, then this Maya or ignorance, or name and form, or as it is called in Europe, time, space and causality, is out of this one infinite existence, showing us the manifoldness of the universe. In substance, this universe is one. So long as anyone thinks that there are two ultimate realities, he is mistaken. When he has come to know that there is but one, he is right. This is what is being proved to us every day on the physical plane, on the mental plane, and also on the spiritual plane. Today, it has been demonstrated that you and I, the sun, the moon, and the stars, are but different names of the different spots in the same ocean of matter, and that this matter is continuously changing in its configuration. This particle of energy that was in the sun several months ago may be in the human being now. Tomorrow, it may be in an animal. The day after tomorrow, it may be in a plant. It is ever coming and going. It is all one unbroken infinite mass of matter, only differentiated by names and forms. One point is called the sun, another the moon, another the stars, another man, another animal, another plant, and so on. And these names are fictitious. They have no reality because the whole is a continuously changing mass of matter. This very same universe, from another standpoint, is an ocean of thought, where each one of us is a point called a particular mind. You are a mind, I am a mind, everyone is a mind. And the very same universe, viewed from the standpoint of knowledge, when the eyes have cleared of delusions, when the mind has become pure, appears to be the unbroken absolute being, the ever pure, the unchangeable, the immortal. What then becomes of all this threefold eschatology of the dualist? That when a man dies, he goes to heaven, or goes to this or that sphere, and that the wicked persons become ghosts, and become animals, and so forth. None comes and none goes, say the non-dualist. How can you come and go? You are infinite. Where is the place for you to go? In a certain school, a number of little children were being examined. The examiner had foolishly put all sorts of difficult questions to these little children. Among others, there was this question: why does not the earth fall? His intention was to bring out the idea of gravitation or some other intricate scientific truth from these children. Most of them could not even understand the question, so they gave all sorts of wrong answers. But one bright little girl answered it with another question: where shall it fall? The very question of the examiner was nonsense on the face of it. There is no up and down in the universe. The idea is only relative. So it is with regard to the soul. The very question of birth and death in regard to it is utter nonsense. Who goes and who comes? Where are you not? Where is the heaven that you are not in already? Omnipresent is the self of man. Where is it to go? Where is it not to go? It is everywhere. So all this childish dream and puerile illusion of birth and death, of heavens and higher heavens and lower worlds, all vanish immediately for the perfect. For the nearly perfect, it vanishes after showing them the several scenes up to Brahmalok. It continues for the ignorant. How is it that the whole world believes in going to heaven and in dying and being born? I am studying a book, page after page is being read and turned over. Another page comes and it's turned over. Who changes? Who comes and goes? Not I, but the book. This whole nature is a book before the soul. Chapter after chapter is being read and turned over, and every now and then a scene opens that is read and turned over. A fresh one comes, but the soul is ever the same, eternal. It is nature that is changing, not the soul of man. This never changes. Birth and death are in the nature, not in you. Yet the ignorant are deluded. Just as we are under the delusion, thinking that the sun is moving, not the earth, in exactly the same way we are thinking that we are dying and not nature. These are all therefore hallucinations. Just as it is a hallucination when we think that the fields are moving and not the railway train, exactly in the same manner is the hallucination of birth and death. When men are in a certain frame of mind, they see this very existence as the earth, as the sun, the moon, the stars, and all those who are in the same state of mind see the same things. Between you and me, there may be millions of beings on different planes of existence. They will never see us, nor we see them. We only see those who are in the same state of mind and on the same plane with us. Those musical instruments respond, which has the same attunement of vibration, as it were, is a state of vibration which they call man vibration, should be changed. No longer would men be there, the whole man universe would vanish, and instead of that, other scenery would come before us. Perhaps gods and the God universe, or perhaps for the wicked men, devils and a diabolical world. But all would only be different views of one universe. It is this universe which from the human plane is seen as the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all such things. It is this very universe which seen from the plane of wickedness appears as a place of punishment. And it is this very universe which is seen as a heaven by those who want to see it as a heaven. Those who have been dreaming of going to a God who is sitting on a throne and of standing there praising Him all their lives, when they die, they simply see a vision of what they have in their minds. This very universe will simply change into a vast heaven with all sorts of winged beings flying about and a God sitting on a throne. These heavens are all of the man's own making, but it is all simply what the dualists say is true, says the Advaitin, but it is all simply of his own making. These spheres and devils and gods and reincarnations and transmigrations are all mythology. So also is this human life. The great mistake that men always make is to think that this life alone is true. They understand it well enough when other things are called mythologies, but are never willing to admit the same of their own position. The whole thing as it appears is a mere mythology, and the greatest of all lies is that we are bodies, which we never were nor ever can be. It is the greatest of all lies that we are mere men. We are the God of the universe. In worshipping God, we have been always worshipping our own hidden self. The worst lie that you can ever tell yourself is that you are born a sinner or a wicked man. He alone is a sinner who sees a sinner in another man. Suppose there is a baby here and you place a bag of gold on the table. Suppose a robber comes and takes the gold away. To the baby it is all the same because there is no robber inside. There is no robber outside. To sinners and vile men, there is vileness outside, but not to good men. So the wicked see this universe as a hell, and partially good see it as heaven, while the perfect beings realize it is God Himself. Then alone the veil falls from the eyes, and the man, purified and cleansed, finds his whole vision changed. The bad dreams that have been torturing him for millions of years all vanish, and he who was thinking of himself either as a man or a god or a demon, he was thinking of himself as living in low places, in high places, on earth, in heaven, and so on, finds that he is really omnipresent, that all at all time is in him, and that he is not in time, that all the heavens are in him, that he is not in any heaven, and that all the gods that man ever worshipped are in him, and that he is not in any one of these gods. He was the manufacturer of the gods and the demons, of men and plants, and animals and stones, and the real nature of man now stands unfolded to him as being higher than heaven, more perfect than this universe of ours, more infinite than infinite time, more omnipresent than the omnipresent other. Thus alone man becomes fearless and becomes free. Then all delusions cease, all miseries vanish, all fears come to an end forever. Birth goes away, and with it death. Pains fly, and with them fly away pleasures. Earths vanish, and with them vanish heavens. Bodies vanish, and with them vanishes the mind also. For that man disappears the whole universe, as it were. This searching, moving, continuous struggling of forces stops forever, and that which was manifesting itself as a force and matter, as struggles of nature, as nature itself, as heavens and earths and plants and animals and men and angels, all that becomes transfigured into one infinite, unbreakable, unchangeable existence. And the knowing man finds that he is one with that existence. Even as the clouds of various colors come before the sky, remain there for a second and then vanish away, even so before this soul are all these visions coming of earths and heavens, of moons and the gods, of pleasures and pains, but they are all passing away, leaving the one infinite blue unchangeable sky. The sky never changes. It is the clouds that change. It is a mistake to think that the sky is changed. It is a mistake to think that we are impure, that we are limited, that we are separate. The real man is the one unit of existence. Two questions now arise. The first is it possible to realize this? So far it is a doctrine, philosophy, but is it possible to realize it? It is. There are men still living in this world for whom delusion has vanished forever. Do they immediately die after such realization? Not so soon as we should think. Two wheels joined by one pole are running together. If I get hold of one of the wheels and with the axle cut the pole asunder, and the wheel which I have got hold of stops, but the other wheel is in its past momentum, so it runs a little and then falls down. This pure and perfect being, the soul, is the one wheel, and this external hallucination of the body and mind is the other wheel, joined together by the pole of work, of karma. Knowledge is the axle which will sever the bond between the two, and the wheel of the soul will stop thinking that it is coming and going, living and dying, stop thinking that is nature and has wants and desires, and will find that it is perfect, desireless. But upon the other wheel, that of the body and the mind, will be the momentum of past acts. So it will live for some time until that momentum of past work is exhausted, and until that momentum is worked away, and then the body and mind fall and the soul becomes free. No more is there any going to heaven and coming back, not even any going to the Brahmlok or to any of the highest of the spheres, from where he is to come from or to go to. The man who has in this life attained to this state, for whom for a minute at least the ordinary vision of the world has changed and the reality has been apparent, is called the living free. This is the goal of the Vedantin, to attain freedom while living. Once in Western India, I was traveling in the desert country on the coast of the Indian Ocean. For days and days I used to travel on foot through the desert. But it was to my surprise that I saw every day beautiful lakes with trees all round, and the shadows of the trees upside down and vibrating there. How wonderful it looks. And they call this a desert country, I said to myself. Nearly a month I had travelled, seeing these wonderful lakes and trees and plants. One day I was very thirsty and wanted to have a drink of water. So I started to go to one of these clear, beautiful lakes. And as I approached, it vanished. And with a flash, it came to my brain, this is the mirage about which I have read all my life. And with that also came the idea that throughout the whole of this month, every day, I had been seeing the mirage and did not know it. The next morning I began my march. There was again the lake, but with it also came the idea that it was the mirage and not a true lake. So it is with this universe. We are all traveling in this mirage of the world, day after day, month after month, year after year, not knowing that it is a mirage. One day it will break up, but it will come back again. The body has to remain under the power of the past karma, and so the mirage will come back. This world will come back upon us so long as we are bound by karma. Men, women, animals, plants, our attachments and duties, all will come back to us, but not with the same power. Under the influence of the new knowledge, the strength of karma will be broken, its poison will be lost, it becomes transformed. For along with it there comes the idea that we know of it now, that sharp distinction between the reality and the mirage has never been known. This world will not be the same world as before. There is, however, a danger here. We see that in every country, people are taking up this philosophy and saying, I am beyond all virtue and vice. So I am not bound by any moral laws. I may do anything I like. You may find many fools in this country at present time saying, I am not bound, I am God Himself. Let me do anything I like. This is not right. Although it is true that the soul is beyond all laws, physical, mental or moral, within law is bondage, beyond law is freedom. It is also true that the freedom of the nature of the soul is its birthright. That real freedom of the soul shines through the veils of matter in the form of the apparent freedom of man. Every moment of your life you feel that you are free. We cannot live, talk or breathe for a moment without feeling that we are free. But at the same time, a little thought shows us that we are like machines and not free. What is true then? Is it this idea of freedom or being a delusion? One party holds that the idea of freedom is a delusion. Another says that the idea of bondage is a delusion. How can this happen? Man is really free. The real man cannot be but free. It is when he comes to the world of Maya into name and form that he becomes bound. Free will is a misnomer. Will can never change. Will can never be free. How can it be? It is only when the real man has become bound that his will comes into existence, not before. The will of man is bound, but that which is the foundation of that will is eternally free. So even the state of bondage, which we call human life or God life, on earth or in heaven, there yet remains to us that recollection of the freedom which is ours by divine right. And consciously or unconsciously, we are all struggling towards it. When a man has attained his own freedom, how can he be bound by any law? No law in this universe can bind him, for this universal universe itself is his.